in this episode.
For those counting at home, that's huge.
Huge.
9 tenths of an inch, huge.
It is.
That's like twice the size of some other things. But
Okay, so if you're to grab your Glock barrel by the base, right, with one fist, and you put your next fist on top of that first fist, then that little bit that's sticking out at the end, that's the difference.
In an obtuse world, Mark and Jefe will combine military, law enforcement, and general FUD knowledge to keep you vertical. Welcome to the Live, Laugh, Larp podcast.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Thanks for joining us on another edition of the Live, Laugh, Larp podcast. Man, I really feel like we just did this.
yeah, it's like almost like 3 days ago. We were here.
Right?
Totally isn't 3 days after our last guest.
Yeah. So, but we're back in the recording studio to bring you another guest, someone that we've both trained with.
The recording couch.
Yeah, the
recording casting couch.
Obviously, you have myself, Mark. We have the co-host Jefe. How you doing, sir?
Still here.
Yeah.
We literally just had like a 2-hour conversation with somebody 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And then this guest that we have on today, which we'll introduce here in a second, was kind enough to jump in that quick, and then we have 2 others lined up back to back, so we can cover all of July and some of August.
Yeah, because one of us, we're not going to say who, but one of us has to go do stuff.
Yeah, thank me for my service. I take
your cervix.
I take Chili's 2 for 2 meals as payment.
No, you only get Applebee's here.
Actually, they have the 3 for, it's like 3 for 20. It's like a 3-course meal for a single person is $20. Thanks, Biden.
Is it at Applebee's?
No, it's Chili's.
Chili's?
Just Chili's.
I don't even know the last time I ate at Chili's.
No, it's Applebee's. Never say eating good in the hood, but no, it's Applebee's. So nope, doing great. I'm excited to do another cast because this is just fun to do, just to hang out and talk with some bros for a couple hours.
I'm pretty sure that I have drank more in the last probably 10 days than I have.
Your gut looks like it has. So
there it is. But hey, guys, enough with that. We have 2 little housekeeping things that we always do every episode. The first is, if you guys wouldn't mind, we would really appreciate any type of interaction with wherever you listen, whether that is on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube. We're on YouTube now. And if you guys are interested in checking us out on the Firearms Radio Network, we are now on there. So if you don't want to support Spotify or Apple or anything like that, you can check us out there. Especially if you don't want to, patron alphabet. You can check us out on the Firearms Radio Network, and we really do appreciate them allowing us to,
be a part of their network.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So, but one of the things that we want to do is we want to highlight some of the comments that you guys are sending our way. And this comment.
Oh, I haven't seen this one yet. Yeah, so you just sent me the comment this day.
You already know where this is going.
Yeah.
I know 100%. But this one is from our second episode, right? Episode 2.
What was that about?
I don't even remember. It's been that long ago. But episode 2, it's simple. I think I'm in love with Mark.
Oh, she's back. She's back.
That was episode 2. That was like last year. So
yeah. Well, I mean, hey,
it was right about that time. So
hey, I mean, it's 50% of the podcast. So
yeah. Well, the ladies like me, apparently. At least this one. I don't know. But we're going to leave that one alone. If you guys are interested in being
stalkers,
yeah, right. If you guys are interested in being featured, leave a comment. We'll read it on air, and we'll either let you guys make fun of us or we'll make fun of you. One of the 2 is going to happen, and we'll go from there. But as always, we also have to say a huge thank you to our title sponsor. This is the group that is paying the bills for us, at least the internet bills anyway.
Internet and Michelob Ultras.
Michelob Ultras for sure. And that's Atero Arms. Atero Arms, guys, thank you so much for sponsoring this podcast. If you guys haven't checked them out, I highly encourage you guys to look out their products that they have. You can find them down in the description of the podcast. It's AteroArms.com, and they make one of the best, if not the best, AK sight mount for red dots. I think they're going to be trying to work on some expansion in the future. Last time I talked to him, we've kind of kicked around the idea of figuring out a way to have something sturdy enough for an
Acro P2 on a J-frame revolver.
There is that every time until
you got to bring it up.
It's got to happen.
It's kind of like the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Sure, we'll go with that.
The loudest political dissidents get the Makarov to the head.
That's right. That is exactly right.
That's what happens.
They just end up getting they just have you watch them build an M240. So there's that, because he's building an M240.
Allegedly.
I saw the designs.
It's going to be semi-auto, five round max, like internal magazine on it.
Yeah. But that's
22.
All the administrative stuff for this episode. We are now going to bring on our wonderful guests.
John with AOR Dynamics.
Hey, John, how is it?
You can
going?
Unmute now.
Hey, party people.
Hey,
there he is.
So just real quick, John and the two of us are, I would say, familiar with each other.
John and I send more memes on each other on Instagram than like the Glizzy group.
Oh, really?
Like I get more memes from John. Huh?
Oh.
It's filthy. We're the height of depravity.
Oh yeah, it's like the algorithms that you brought me down, like it even just makes my stepsister very uncomfortable. She's like, what is on your phone? I'm like, yeah, it's just September 11th.
Oh, you guys are silly. A bunch of silly goose in there, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, but I know John, working with him and Bill Regina, a night vision course that we took last year. And then I think you've taken
Red Dot instructor course. So John, let's just do the basics. Who are you, and what do you do?
Okay, I am John, the internet sensation, also known as AOR Dynamics. I think I've got 560 something Instagram followers at this point.
Nice.
I am
halfway to 1,000.
Yeah, halfway. I'm just trying to extend my reach one filthy meme at a time. I am primarily a stay-at-home dad, also a D-list Instagram tier firearms instructor. I have
made it to D-list. Nice.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how far the list goes. I might be further, but I'm one of them, and I have a background in law enforcement, 10-year law enforcement degree, career.
Yeah, that's right.
Degree in law enforcement, right? It would be like an associate. When I left my last job, I was working for a large Midwestern department. I'll just say it, Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. I was on their SWAT team. I had a position within our team, not as like a rank supervisor, but as a position like the team leader, if you will. And one of the things that I was responsible for was I was a sniper, and I was an explosive breacher. And I also had a position within our unit, like coordinating and coming up with all the firearms training curriculum. So really what happened was I did all this stuff. And then at some point I thought it would be really funny to create a meme page called AOR Dynamics. And then people started DMing me and they're like, dude, you're a firearms instructor now? When are you going to come up with classes? And then I came up with the class, and I took people's money. I started teaching them. And that's what happened. I started being a firearms instructor one day. So that was pretty.
The memes make the dreams, man.
Yep. I know. It's like if you fake it, you make it. Now that said, I do have like firearms instructor certification. I have training and all that stuff, that background. So it's not like I pulled all of it out of my ass, but
just most of it.
If I willed it, and it became a reality. And here I am. I'm teaching. I think I've taught between private lessons and small group classes probably over 200 at this point, quite a bit since leaving the police department in the last couple of years. So I've seen a thing or two. And I guess in addition to that, I'm a competitive shooter. So there it is.
Did you post your practice score for the chat?
Yeah, if you want me to.
That's always, every time someone mentions like competition, it instantly like, let me see your practice score. I want to see it.
Yeah, it's like, I want to see. It's like, okay. I'm a bridesmaid a lot. Actually, other people win. Sometimes I come close. Sometimes I win, the local matches. I've been going to bigger things. I just got back from Cornhusker up in Nebraska. That's like a bigger area match. And I didn't do terribly. I mean, I didn't win. But yeah, it was a big learning experience for me. So yeah.
Right on.
It's
well,
like, let me see them hits. I want to see the hits on your videos.
Exactly.
Let me see the practice score. Let me see all this stuff. Vet your instructors. Hell yeah. But I mean, the other end of that is like a lot of people claim to be instructors. A lot of people are instructors. Anybody can be an instructor. So I think there is some validity to that.
I mean, I don't want to, I'm just going to humble brag here. I mean, I took the NRA Appleseed instructor course back in like 2008. So, I mean, we're on par with each other.
We are instructors. Well, actually, you did take the AOR Dynamics official red dot
I guess
instructor course. You are an instructor, anointed by me, no less.
Very nice.
Spreading the good word.
My question to you, very first question right off the bat, since you were in law enforcement, what is your favorite scene from Super Troopers?
It's got to be the maple syrup scene.
There we go. Thank you.
I actually want to ask the real law enforcement question. What's the best law enforcement movie out there, and why is it SWAT?
It's because you're either SWAT or you're not.
Yeah, SWAT or you're not, dog. No, it's definitely one of the guilty pleasures. I mean, this is my big thing with that movie. Star-studded cast.
Yep.
You got action. You got romance. You got more action.
And still bombed at the box office.
And everything bombs at the box office, man. That movie came out in what, 2000 and let's see, 3? No, it's like 3 or 4, man.
Was it?
I was in high school.
All right, I'm looking it up. IMDb.
And it kicked off my weird kink for a while with the Colt CT2 customs, but we won't get into Colt 1911s. That's for a later podcast. We're talking.
Oh, you're right. 2003.
Yeah, I remember. I went to the movie theater by myself on post. I remember seeing that movie.
Well, you know what?
I was
where I
influenced.
was in. You know where I was in 2003?
Where were you at?
I was freaking defending your freedom in Iraq. That's where
Tell you what, I'll buy you a 2 for $20. How about that?
We're even.
So why is it SWAT?
Well, I mean, it really breeds definitely a mood. You know, I mean, it lets people know there's more than just like being in patrol. You can go out, you can be high speed. You can get Velcro. You need to get your blacks to match between your black nylon, your black canvas, hair gel, tight t-shirts. It's a lifestyle. And I mean, what else do you need to know? Throat mics? Come on.
Yep. Throat mics.
Yep. We had, there's that you just like unlocked a thing I completely forgot about. Throat mics, like that thing of the past, but God, were those the good old days.
The irony is that we're actually doing this podcast with throat mics.
Yeah, you don't even know.
No, mine's a throat mic. Someone deep throated my mic.
No, it sounds like I'm in a big room and I'm just talking to my computer, but I'm actually hooked up to a throat mic right now.
Oh. You need to send me a photo right now, man, on the grams.
Let me whip up the Photoshop.
Send you a photo of his throat. That's all you see.
Thethroatgoat.com. Yeah, I'd be remiss to like not mention my sponsor, throatgoat.org.
Actually, hey, this is going to probably air actually this week.
Yeah.
So
Saturday.
we have to move quickly. You get throatgoat.com. I'm going to go find some Chinese producer to make us throat mics. And we'll sell it as SWAT approved throat mics.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be like a Baofeng 2-pin connector.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the only thing that and for your iPhone, like a USB-C connector.
Yeah, that way it's comms, man. Like, who do you talk to? People of Reddit. Who are you talking to? Anyway, but we got the throat mic so we can like whisper or like grumble into it, and like, you know, the bad guys on the other side of the sheet, they can't hear you. Like yes, absolutely yes. I'm down. We're doing it.
So everyone, our new podcast sponsor, Throat Goat.
Title sponsor, guys, is what I'm going for.
Move over, Taro. So, law enforcement instructor, what is, I guess, your forte? Like, what's the favorite thing you love teaching the most right now?
Okay. You know, if I could like wave a magic wand and marketing and all the tenets of business be damned, if I could teach a performance shooting class that is around shooting like subcompact pistols from concealment, like for real, that is my passion. That is the thing that I absolutely love. Like, you know, in my heart, I want to like get my SIG P365, X macro, Glock 48, whatever, the guns that real people actually carry, and hold them accountable to metric standards, distances, things that are like realistic for real world encounters, and getting people spun up on that. That's what I would do all day long. It is my heart song. It's what I want.
So, and I'm just kind of harking back to the instructor course. I understand that one's a little bit different, but I'm sure you teach a couple like concealed carry performance classes, correct?
Yeah.
Or some sort of amalgamation. How many people show up with like their outer carriers and their gamer gun belts? And it's like, yeah, I just want to use this for class. And then when they leave to go get dinner that afternoon,
they don't. Yeah.
They're like, oh, I got my Ruger 1022 in my back pocket.
Yes, I carry my M4 with me everywhere I go. No, it's very common. It's one of those things that you see, you know, as an instructor, as kind of a gun nerd, performance shooting nerd, if you will. Like the question I'm always asking myself is, how can I get my training, my dry fire, my practice to, you know, adequately prepare me for the real thing, whether it's, you know, some real life encounter or lawful use of force or a competition, whatever, a cold start on a drill with some friends. Like, how can I make my practice actually prepare me and carry me over for the thing that I'm trying to do? And pretty much most of the time, if not all the time, I see more often than not situations where people are carrying out of holsters they're not really using, or claiming to carry guns every damn day, you know, that they don't actually carry, you know, and none of it's really realistic. And I mean, you know, I'm a competitive shooter, and that's kind of the thing that's like moving me forward and pushing it and keeping me somewhat relevant. But it's always going back to, you know, what is this actually for? What is the point of what we're trying to achieve here with training with pistols? And with me, my primary goal is to be like adequately prepared for self-defense. And another thing that, you know, I'm always trying to improve at is to be an instructor for law enforcement and for training other police officers to, you know, use their weapons lawfully, effectively, you know, in a self-defense or offensive scenario, as well as they possibly could. And, you know, like a lot of the time, these gear selections aren't really realistic or adequate, and they fall short. And I think that, you know, it's just people are just jacking around. But that's the beginning of a bigger, longer form rant. So I'll just stop there for right now.
So as an instructor, what has been like the worst holster setup that you've seen someone bring to your class?
So I'm typically, I don't market myself as like a basic guy. I don't really say, you know, if you've never fired a gun before, come out with AOR Dynamics. I'll show you the way. But I did dabble in that early on, and I had a guy for a basic class, and he brought a single action SIG P226 in 40, no less. And it was in a nylon, like one of those soft foam clip type deals, like an Uncle Mike's, like has a number corresponding to it. And it was just terrifying. It had like a soft mouth. It collapsed immediately when you pulled the gun out of the holster. It was absolutely a nightmare, coupled with the fact that you had a brand new shooter with a gun with a single action trigger and a safety. And I mean, it was just like horrifying to watch. We had to really stick to him and make sure that he got that safety on. He wasn't muzzling himself, and it was just awful. So, but I don't know. I mean, I've been around the block a few times. I've seen some like airsoft grade shoulder holsters and some nylon drop leg holsters, like some just awful shit. So,
do you think that that guy learned anything after the class as far as his gear goes?
Yeah. Yes. And that's actually, when it comes to gear, I had a series of classes, and I wish I could do this now. It was called the Thursday night practice session or series. Mm-hmm. And I would do blocks, and sometimes they were themed.
Was that down in the caves?
Down in those caves.
Yeah.
And
RIP caves.
I know.
We'll get to the caves here in a little bit.
Yeah,
the Missouri cheese caves, where the government's holding 400 pounds of government cheese at any time because it's trying to hold up the dairy industry.
not that one. Those are nearby, and those have not burned down. Actually, believe it or not, probably
convenient.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna derail this. I'm sorry, we're doing it now. Hey, so I think the government burned down your gun range cave to store more cheese. And here's why:
shut it down, and they're just like, you know what? We're gonna shut it down. We're gonna board it up, but we're actually drilling in from the other side, and we need,
more cheese space.
10,000 square feet of climate-controlled cheese storage.
Yeah, because if you just think about it, like the price of cheese is collapsing, the dairy industry is still collapsing, and they need to buy more cheese. What better way to make a freak fire in a cave, a refrigerated cave? Like I've played at Jaeger's paintball. Is that still a thing there? Jaeger's?
Yeah, I think so.
That thing is damp and like you can't walk 5 feet without slipping in a mud puddle. How did that catch on fire?
Well, I'll tell you why, but are we doing this now?
Because the government did it.
Oh yeah, we're doing it now.
We're doing it now. Sorry. Yeah, we're doing it now. We're going into the cheese cave theory.
So my understanding of it, which may not be perfect, but my understanding of it is that some party was storing petroleum down there. And I would believe it if they were improperly storing it. That's totally plausible to me. Wouldn't shock me at all if they were storing it improperly and it somehow combusted. Right over there's a lot of homeless people who live over there. And and we're not talking about like the noble houseless people of Kansas City, but we're talking about like fucking meth heads. And it would not shock me if a methamphetamine enhanced individual went in there and was like starting fires and doing like crazy shit and coincidentally was around the improperly stored petroleum products. Or the third option, which is equally plausible, is that there's probably some dead people in that cave and they set a fire to cover up those dead bodies.
Oh, yeah.
For a variety of reasons.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So or the more plausible reason, the cheese caves.
Yeah. Like, well, hold on a second. Let's back up just a second. For those people who don't know, in Kansas City, there is a network of caves, believe it or not, that work themselves through the limestone, because that's kind of what this region is known for, is the limestone sediment, I guess, layers, whatever. But there are caves in Kansas City, and in the past they had been used for,
refrigeration, essentially.
Refrigeration, but there was one small section that was cordoned off for basically a shooting range. I took a class from S&S training in the caves, and then John here has done some classes there as well. I saw some guys that I competed at the tactical games with. They were doing some train up for the tactical games there. And
there's a paintball, like indoor paintball in those caves.
Yeah, that is still, I guess, up and going, right?
Until the government needs more cheese space.
Well, there's a lot of caves over there. I was actually over in another little cave complex down the road. So, anything along the 435 corridor, there are numerous caves. Some of them are owned by the Hunt family, and they store all sorts of stuff down there, like giant complex, like far more vast than what I could even possibly comprehend. So,
and it was interesting for me because when I went to train with S&S Training Solutions, I wasn't expecting these caves. They were like, yeah, we this is the address. It's a cave, just drive right on in. And I was like, okay. And sure enough, I pull up and I literally drive my, at the time it was a Ram. I had a Ram 1500 and drove
Happy Pride
right
Month.
on in. And I was surprised at how big this place was. And there was probably 8 or 10 people that came to train, plus the 2 instructors, and we had more than enough room for all of our vehicles to park wherever. And it was pretty interesting, to say the least.
We've done some distance shooting in there. It was actually an interesting place for me to go and shoot like my precision rifle, because it's like the environmental conditions are always going to be the same and there will never be wind. Like the temperature will be the same. The humidity will always be about the same. If you want to look for like the most consistent place to shoot a rifle inside of a cave is a place to do it, as bizarre as that is. You don't have to worry about weird sun angle, heat, mirage, none of it. It's all like exactly the same, and you can shoot 100 yards, you know.
What about the Coriolis effect?
I was just about to I was going to bring that up.
No,
the Coriolis effect.
You know, there's like, you know, there's a sub MOA gun and there's a sub MOA shooter, and I can't get the Coriolis effect to come into account. I just basically just jerk low left and shoot my target stick. But
yeah, there we go. That sounds familiar.
Yeah,
you gotta just yeet it.
Yeah,
I think that's what kids say.
Well, and it's cool about Kansas City too. Just to bring a little bit more in with precision shooting, because you have G Precision is right there.
Yeah,
where you can go, I think there's two other Badger Ordnance is like 2 blocks away from GA Precision.
Yep.
And then Athlon's over at New Century, correct?
Yep, over in Olathe.
So you can, like, within an hour drive, go pick up a gun that will outshoot you for the rest of your life. You know, a set of optic rings that cost more than the gun, and then a okay-ish optic, and then get some barbecue and make it a fantastic afternoon.
That's right. Get into a hit and run accident and get shot at all in an afternoon.
Manners isn't in Kansas City, right? I know it's in Kansas, but I can't remember if it's in Kansas City. Manners stocks.
What?
Manners?
Don't know. Never.
Okay.
Don't know what that is.
No. Okay, cool. So let's kind of go back before we got into the cheese caves. We were talking about resetting up people's gear, Mr. Single action.
Oh yeah. So getting back into it. So we're in these caves, and I have this series of classes, and it's basically we're going to shoot these standards, these tests, all these different things, like the Federal Air Marshal qualification was one of the things that we did, and I wanted you to.
You can't. Let me just put this out there. According to Ken Hackathorn, you can't do it. You can't qualify with red dot. No one can do it. Can't do it.
Red dots are slow up close. I'm here to tell you right now. You cannot shoot a red dot up close because they're slow.
So I went to. Sorry, I've taken that course before with like a single stack 1911. It is not a joke of a qualification though. It's kind of spicy, especially as like a newer shooter shooting 45s.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, all this to say is like people bring these guns and they're in these holsters that are inadequate. They're in these places that are inadequate. Like, you know, I'm a big advocate for carrying a real gun, something that you're actually going to carry every single day. I don't think that you need to carry your Roland Special every single day, and that is going to be the thing that makes you prepared. You know, I think that you can get away with a lot less if you know what you're doing, if you're competent, if you train with it. And, you know, that said, for each person, there's a minimum standard. Like there's the gun that's too small. You can't carry it. You shouldn't carry it. Like you can't pass these standards. You know, like the 365 or the Glock 43, and you can't get a pinky on. May not be for everybody. You don't have the capacity. You may not be able to get the hits. Iron sights even, you know, depending on who you are, may not be able to make it work. And so, you know, what I try to do with my classes or these practice sessions is it's more of like a laboratory, if you will. Like it's an exploratory adventure that we all go down. And I'm trying to lead you to these points where you make discoveries on your own. You know, it's far be it for me to come in and tell you dogmatically what you have to do or precisely how you do it. There's only one way, and this is the only way to do it. Otherwise, you're wrong. You know, because everyone's different, everyone's needs are different, their setups are different, they're built differently. But you know, we definitely, for a lot of people, reached points where they're like, bro, your holster is shit, or this gun is inadequate. Like it's good. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. The amount of practice that's going to be required for you to be adequate with this gun. Just, it's not worth it. Just carry something different. So I think that's definitely a thing, you know, like, yes, don't carry a shitty gun, but you also have to take into account, like, does this gun work for you? Can you actually carry this gun, or does this holster work for you? I mean, you know, like it really puts people to the test, and it unveils any deficiency in how they carry, because, like, you know, carrying something comfortable and something that may be convenient may not actually be like performance oriented. And there's a line that you have to like balance on. And it's important to actually like train with what you carry with, otherwise you won't know. And it's very, I don't know, I get the impression at least that a lot of people aren't really exposed to these standards or this kind of shooting with their carry guns, and it's an eye-opening experience.
For sure. I think ultimately there is a segment of the population that feels that they are at a level that they actually are not, right? We all have heightened...
The Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah, exactly. We have a heightened sense of our own preparedness, and they've never been challenged. They've never been in a situation where they've had to, fight, whether it be with their fists or anything else. So they just think that they can go to the range, shoot 50 rounds every 6 months and just be fine. That's one of the things that I troll comments all the time when people are like, oh, well, my freaking, Langdon Tactical Mark 12 is so much better than your PSA spear, whatever. And I'm like, well, you don't shoot enough for it to matter. So, there's that.
I want to have a dog in this fight, but I'm literally have like $800 revolver in my front pocket right now. So like, I don't, but no, what
your $800 revolver doesn't have?
An Acro.
An Acro P2. Shield arms. We'll talk offline about shield arms. What I also think what a lot of people have a hard time with, and I've ranted plenty of times before, is what people want to carry and what people need to carry. That vastly depends on like where you live and kind of what is like the area you're at. And I've pushed area studies before, or just at least understanding what crime statistics look like at where you are. The carry, like if concealed carrying downtown Kansas City is completely different than concealed carrying downtown where we're at. And understanding those differences to choose your gear, because at the end of the day, these are all tools. So yes, while I can take a chainsaw and cut 2x4s to build a house, it's not exactly the right tool, and I'm not going to take a hacksaw to the woods and try to build a log cabin with it. We have to scale up, scale down, and figure out what works for us to be performance oriented, but also not being burdened down by our equipment just because somebody who lives in someone lives in Reno, Arizona, carries a Glock 17 optics light, 2 spare mags, and a blowout kit. And like, yeah, you're getting a shootout once a week just looking at that town compared to
that's in Reno, Arizona,
New Mexico
or Nevada.
Yeah, they're all the fucking same. They all should go back to Mexico. But yeah, so that's the end of my rant on that one.
Yeah. No, you make good points there. I mean, I sent a meme earlier today.
Yeah,
talking about revolvers.
Yeah,
and
James Yeager.
Yeah,
rest in peace.
Oh yeah, love James. But
you loved him.
I did. I still do. That's why I sent that reel to you. But with that being said, your response to it was,
Mark hasn't done his area studies.
I know, you may not necessarily need, like we've said time and time again, a freaking Glock 17 or a Glock 34 with 2 extra mags and freaking
blowout kits.
Yeah.
And a purse.
In a man purse.
Yeah, man purse.
Merce. Yeah.
I'm not looking at Mark when I'm saying all this stuff, by the way.
But maybe something as simple as, I don't know,
a Taurus 586 and a fanny pack. That's all you need in life.
Or a Smith & Wesson 638 in the drawstring of your running shorts, So, yeah. So with all of that being said, do an area study, plug into some of the law enforcement in the area, find out what's going on, read the newspaper. I know that in the military we call it the blotter, but there's always a report in the newspaper as far as crime statistics.
Okay, Boomer, just go on the internet and look up the crime statistics in your city.
Oh, I forgot Google.
Yeah, you can Google it and it'll tell you it.
But,
I mean, if you want to read a newspaper, that's fine too. But so So John, you talked about you went to Cornhusker just recently. What were you
Sure
shooting
did.
up there?
I was shooting my Springfield Prodigy.
Talk to us about the Springfield Prodigy.
It's almost like I've done 2 videos on it already.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. I knew this was going to be an enticing conversation for you, both of y'all.
It's gonna be triggering. No, it won't. It's a great gun. I really like it.
It sucks. I'm just kidding.
It's
okay.
I have with this gun at least. I've documented all the rounds that I've shot through it. I have a notes thing I have on my phone, and every time I go to the range, I write down how many rounds I've shot, and if I had anything that's happened that's notable. So I've shot just about 20,000 rounds through it in the last year, and I have had precisely zero malfunctions in the last roughly 10,000 rounds. I mean, now that said, it sucked out of the box, and you have to replace all the Springfield Armory parts. But once you do that, it's a bummer. So,
once you make it not a Springfield, it is legit.
it's sick. No, yeah. There's a couple things I don't like about it. I don't like that it's Cerakoted because I've beaten the shit out of the finish. The optics mounting system sucks ass. And for the life of me, really? I haven't found a way to keep the optics mounting plate solid for more than 2,000 or 3,000 rounds. But yeah,
I tried Elmer's wood glue.
Not really, because I mean, typically every time I get some, it goes pretty quick. I eat it pretty fast.
I went 800 rounds. I've gone 800 rounds before it jiggled itself loose. I did like the way that they created that beaver tail, that wedge. I thought that was a good idea. It's just those screws just are not holding it down tight enough more than 1,000 rounds or so for me so far. That's been my thing. And I'm used to polymer frame striker fired pistols that I can shoot thousands of rounds through and not have to clean them, more than just wiping off the barrel block or whatever and putting a dab of oil somewhere sometime, and that's about it. With the Prodigy, I found every 200 rounds, or basically every range trip, I'd have to break it down and clean it, and that's not something I'm used to, so what's been your experience with the Prodigy as far as how many rounds can you run it before it really sludges itself up?
So it's not uncommon for me to shoot 500 rounds in a training session. More likely than not, I shoot about 350. So what typically happens is before I go to the range, I will just field strip it, lube the slide rails, lube the disc connector, put a little bit of lube in the barrel, lock up areas, and then I'll shoot my rounds. And then when I'm done, I'll come home, field strip it, take my old dirty t-shirt, wipe it off, and it's good to go. And the only real maintenance I do beyond that is every 2,000 or 3,000 rounds, I'll do a detailed strip, and then I'll pop the mainspring housing pin, take it all the way apart, wipe everything down, maybe use a little bit of solvent, but not really. I mean, everything that I do is basically I wipe it off with my dirty old t-shirt, reapply lubricant, and as long as I lube it before I go to the range, and if I do a quick wipe down after, it seems to work pretty well. The only part that needs a little bit more maintenance than that are the mags, where if my magazine touches the dirt during a training session, I shoot at Mill Creek, and so the dirt's like moon dust out there.
Yep, it is. Yep.
I will. I'll make sure I'll brush my mags out, between range sessions every once in a while. I have really nice Atlas premium magazines that, if I were to do something that truly mattered, that's what I would use. I've got 5 of those set aside. And then I've got 5 Dura mags that are just, the Springfield Armory training mags. And I beat those up, and I hardly really do any real maintenance with those. But if you keep the mags clean, if you wipe it down with a dirty t-shirt, your old throw rag, and lube it up before range trips, it seems to work fine, at least for me. And I shoot the cheapest, crappiest remanufactured ammo I can get.
Okay.
So
yeah, because I've been running pretty inexpensive stuff as well. I ran a few, I'd probably say about 500 rounds of Bellum 124, and then just whatever else I can get my hands on. I think right now I'm using like not Blazer, but Magtech. That's what I'm running right now is Magtech. So, but what I found funny is 2023 SHOT Show. So the range day that Jefe, you weren't able to make it out for that.
Yeah.
I went to Springfield's booth on range day, and I was like, you know what? I just want to see what the Prodigy is about. I'll run one magazine just to see if I like it. And as I'm walking up, a big gust of wind flipped over one of the tables that had one of the Prodigies sitting there, hit the ground. They immediately picked it up and took it behind the curtain, and you never saw it again. At least I never saw it while I was there. But they had the same pistol that I have right now, which is the shorter barrel, the 4.25 inch length barrel version. And man, I shot it and I walked away really pissed off because I liked it. I liked that pistol. It seemed like it was, I've said it before, it was like the cheat code. The moment that I put it up and pulled the trigger, was shooting steel at like 10 yards, and it was, every round was hitting exactly where I was aiming, which is, in Jefe's words, very uncharacteristic. But but that was one of the things that I found interesting about it. And I was a year later finally to a point where I was like, well, let me give it a try. And the local store had one that was used, but they said it only had like 50 rounds through it.
So I had 2,000.
So it, I will say that there was a very intentional break-in period. I did run 124s mainly through it in the first few hundred rounds. Had a few stovepipes, failures to feed, but really after that, as long as I kept it clean, it's been good.
It did better than the Gearson.
It did better than the Gearson. You know, it's funny that you bring that up because that Gearson MC 1911C that I did all those videos for, they discontinued that pistol.
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Curious.
It's probably because they introduced the 2311s.
Oh.
So
I'm going
to do. But... John, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get one of the Gerson or the TSOS 2311s, and I'm going to find a competition that you're shooting, and I'm going to outshoot you with one of those.
Come on now. I got the Mac 9 DS. It's the Turcato at home, and it.
Oh, right.
It's surprisingly good. Yeah, it is surprisingly good. I like it for a variety of reasons. Actually, the thing that sold me on my Prodigy was my buddy's Atlas Titan, which is a weird thing to say, I know. But I have a friend, and he's got an Atlas. He's got a shitload of money. And so he has all these like custom and semi-custom guns laying around. And so for him to just be like, here, take my Atlas Titan. It's no big deal. I won't miss it. I've got a chambers on the way, and I'm playing with my alchemy, you know.
Is this your friend? Did you go to the night vision course with us?
No.
Okay. I'll say,
it's like
that guy.
It's like that dude that showed up with a knight's armament at 308, and then it goes down and he pulls out something just even more expensive.
Yeah, even cooler.
Yeah, he had like
big deal. No.
Yeah, he was shooting right beside me. I had my like AK with a Holosun laser just like taped on my gun.
Yep. It's like, hey man, if it works. But yeah, I had this Atlas Titan, and it felt amazing in the hand. And so like part of me philosophically, like, I don't think that you need to spend $1 gazillion to get into a gun that works. Even with our Lord and Savior, John Moses Browning, coming up with, you know, a design that's over 100 years old, like somebody should be able to make a gun that works, you know, even if you add like the double stack capability of it. And I feel like,
it's a high point, Browning high power.
Yeah. Like, I feel like, you know, the Prodigy did everything that this Atlas could do, shooting them side by side. I know that this is going to make a lot of people angry. Like, you couldn't really tell the difference. Like, scores in competition, shooting drills, like it didn't make a big difference. And the difference between my like $1,200 gun and my $65,000 or $6,500 gun, it really wasn't there if you looked at the timer. And so it said, the Prodigy's, it's good enough and it works and it's reliable. So like, what's the point of like moving forward? You should have gotten a staccato, people are like punching the air right now, but like, it doesn't really matter other than like how it feels when you're jacking around within your basement. So,
and that's one of the things. I've done 2 videos on the Prodigy so far, and that's most of the comments is like, well, you know what? If you just get a Prodigy and then you just swap out all the parts, man, you got a better pistol than a staccato. And I'm like, okay, cool. How much money did you spend on swapping out all of those parts? Well, it was more than a staccato, but it's better. And I was like, okay, well, why didn't you just buy a staccato then at that point? When it comes to what I have found so far, when it comes to like this double stack 9mm 1911 click in the gun industry, if you are not starting with a staccato and moving upwards from there, then you are like the worst. Right? Give me your best Trump impression. The worst.
You are the worst.
Exactly. So and I'm like, okay, and I've been running the
2311,
the OA Defense, what used to be known as Oracle Arms. They're 2311.
Yeah,
but
look
it's
at the sticker right there on your desk.
Right, the full size versions of the 5-inch barrel, and I really like that pistol. I really like that pistol, and I'm hoping that they'll send me one of their compact versions here soon, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But I really like those, and I get so much shit for it, man. They're just like, oh, you're spending that much money, you might as well just get a staccato. And I'm like, well, maybe I just don't like a staccato. Maybe I don't want to spend $90 freaking on a magazine when I can just use P320 magazines, So there's that, So I don't know. This whole 1911 click in the gun industry is just, it's a different level.
The issue the big issue I have with the 2311 or the 2011 group right now is that 90% of it's just the confirmation bias. I have to validate my purchases, and Aaron Cowan has one, and he says the best, and I spent $5,000 on it, therefore I am the best. Which I mean, Aaron is a cool dude, has a lot of great information. That dude is shooting at a level that, yes, the $5,000 gun compared to the $1,200 Prodigy, he will be able to tell the difference. You going to the range once a month with your girlfriend and shoot at 10 yards at a bottle target.
10 yards.
Yeah, I'm being generous, but
it's more like 5.
You're not going to see the difference between like an Alchemy Arms versus a Gearson at that point.
Yep.
I'm telling you, if you can hit a 5-inch plate at 25 yards, on demand at whatever time standard you feel like is relevant to you, then the rest is just bullshit.
What about an 8-inch at 307 yards?
I mean, if that's your metric, and if both guns can do both, I know where I'm spending my money. I feel like the staccato
Glock 17, baby.
It is the Yeti cooler of handguns.
So we have video evidence of Jefe shooting an 8-inch gong at 300 yards with his Glock 17. So
several times. It wasn't just like one of those one-off things. It's like
he was able to repeat it. I think we only got the one on camera, but I can confirm he did repeat that. So
Glock 17 is the Gen 5 with an Acro PT is the superior pistol platform. And thank you for coming to our TED Talks. It's been great to listen to everybody. So yeah, we haven't talked about Glocks though. So
not at all. You know why? Because nobody fucking cares.
Everyone cares about Glocks, man. It's my favorite thing about the Glock is
what's worse than 2311 guys?
Glock
guys.
It's like, okay, so I have a friend who, it doesn't matter what gun he has, he can make it fail. And
he can make you shoot low left.
He can make it like every gun shoots low left. Like that's his like superpower. And like here's the thing about Glock is that it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful in its factory form, and I think that's how people should be shooting them. But you have people who can't grip the gun. They shoot low left. They put compensators on them. They lighten the striker spring. They replace the trigger. And by the end, it's something that is so far away from Glock, and then it shits the bed. And I mean, it's nuts. Like part of the problem with Glock, I think, is that it forces people to jack with it so much that it's not even Glock-like in the end. And then you lose its biggest selling point, which is its reliability. So
every day we stray further and further from Gaston's grace.
Yeah, every day we do. And today is no exception. And I mean, my favorite Glock is the Glock 34. I think that's your next question. It's the Glock 34.
It has to be. I mean, the 17L is pretty cool though. Like they're coming out with 17Ls again.
Like if I had like disposable money that wasn't going towards ammo, I would get it at 17L because that's just gangster. But I wouldn't put an optic on it.
Between the 17L and the 34.
That 17L is longer.
It's longer.
It's longer.
Is it
9/10 of an inch.
Wow. Yeah, which. For those counting at home, that's huge. 9/10 of an inch, huge.
It is.
Let's say twice the size of some other things. But
okay, so if you're to grab your Glock barrel by the base, right, with one fist, and then you put your next fist on top of that first fist, then that little bit that's sticking out at the end, that's the difference.
So, yeah, I think that's the biggest downfall with any sort of successful firearm in the industry that has a great aftermarket support with it is people jack with it so much. My favorite thing to do is go on Reddit and the Glock subreddit where people are like, hey, I just bought my first Glock. What trigger should I get? What mag well should I get? Like what what barrel should I get for it? It's like, why don't you just go buy like 1,000 rounds of ammo, dude, and go shoot it.
I can tell you, I took fighting rifle from Tactical Response way back. This would have been 2018. It was exactly Easter weekend of 2018 because I had met James Yeager at SHOT Show just that January, and he's like, "Come on out, come train, film it." And that's glorious.
That's glorious. And we got platypuses over here.
And it's on me. Just do your thing. And so I did. I took him up on it. Went out, shot my Glock 19 that I had put a Zev spring kit in for the trigger, and we shot approximately 1,200 rounds through 2 days. And as soon as I got home, I disassembled my Glock trigger and put it back to factory because that Zev spring kit had so many light primer strikes. And I'm pretty sure I racked 100 rounds out of my freaking Glock because of those upgrades. And from there, the only thing that I will do to a Glock is add a red dot to it. That's the only thing that I
change the sights. Maybe I'm a fan of the bucket sights. Oddly enough,
no, yeah, I have to have the at minimum Mariglow.
I just drift the backside out, flip it around, put it back in.
Yes,
that's actually a damn good idea.
Yeah,
that's gangster. I've done that.
Man, look at you.
Yeah, look at me playing 300 IQ over here.
That's like 2 podcasts in a row.
Well, for us, it is. the one we keep on referring to is not going to be posted till like mid-July. So, although it happened 3 days ago, it's not supposed to come out till like a month after this one does.
Yeah.
So, I got called 300 IQ by our previous guest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
previous future guest,
and it's actually that was actually a really good episode. So. For those of you who are interested in learning all about 3D printing, we are going to have a really cool guest on July 15th. So definitely tune in for that. Not who you think
nylon carbon
fiber.
Fiber.
Nylon carbon fiber. This guy is printing with nylon carbon fiber in not just like a regular 3D printer. He's got this whole different setup. It's really, really cool.
But we weren't going to.
We're not going to go into that
shadow
right
our current guest because
no.
He's the man who lives the 80s every day. Okay, actually, this is like a serious request. I know we talked about guns and everything. Everyone comes here to listen about guns, but I have to ask the real question: what's the appropriate length of shorts for men in 2024?
5.5.
Yep, there you go.
Good.
There it is. Yep.
I was going to accept 5 or 5.5, but
yep. So if you're not making friends with some Marines and purchasing silkies from them,
you can go on the internet. You don't. First of all, I know where you got most of your silkies from your Marine friends. Happy Pride Month. But you can just go on the internet and buy them.
But there's different ones. There's the ones that I wear when we work out. Like
no, I don't, because I would say it's been about like a year since you've worked out.
I want all my stuff back. But anyway, yeah. So 5.5. There you go. I prefer mine to be about 7 inches because I've got some pretty thick thighs, and when I run in shorter shorts, I get the chafing going on, and not too good.
Yeah. So the reason I brought it up, we were talking earlier about, first of all, your terrible shorts, and then you show me a picture of your chubbies, and then you sent me a picture of some ripped ass dude at a shooting competition. I'm not gonna lie, I had zero idea who that was. Who was that?
Lane Grease.
Okay.
He's some monster of a shooter. He's incredible. I think he came in second at this competition in question. Did great.
Nebraska or
yep.
Yeah, that guy is definitely corn fed. That guy's huge. Who's the other like super competitive shooter for Magpul that's out in Kansas City over in Bonner Springs?
Oh, that guy, Stephen Howe.
Yeah.
Right? No, Bonner Springs.
No. Yeah, Evan Hafer's not the right one. I use.
Definitely not him.
No, I don't know. Shoot for Magpul. I don't know. It's a big world over here, and I'm learning more about people every day, believe it or not.
Who, if you could have one company sponsor you, what would it be? Like, what's the number one?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. Because I would have to use their products. Probably Glock. That'd be sweet.
So okay, like let's go into
Actually, let me walk that back. I need to be more strategic with this. I need an ammunition sponsor. I would like to be sponsored by Federal. How about that?
We know somebody that's sponsored by Federal. So there we go.
You don't have the boobs for it though.
You don't have the boobs.
You don't have the boobs for it, man.
Nope.
I mean, you could. It is Pride Month, but
it's 2024. You can do anything.
Yeah.
So
if you will
it. Good friend of the YouTube channel and just a great person all around. Ava Flanell with the Gun Funny podcast.
Or is it Flannel?
Flanell.
I didn't know that.
Huh. She pronounces it Flanell.
Okay,
that's what I go with. Interestingly enough, I didn't know she had a sister. They could be like identical twins. I was like, holy cow, that's your sister, man. Anyway, she's been picked up by Federal. She's been sponsored by them. She's not a competitive shooter. She just does YouTube stuff and podcasts and stuff like that. And that's been her biggest achievement to date, outside of like fighting legislation in anti-gun legislation in Colorado. But she posts about that all the time. And that would be, I think that would be probably what I would want as well. I mean, it's cool to have some pretty awesome guns, but if you don't have the freedom seeds to go in them, then it doesn't really matter at that point. So I'd go with sponsorship that way too.
I would have to say throatgoat.com.
Yeah, you would say
the
that.
premier sponsor of the channel, second premier sponsor, number one distributor of not Chinese made throat mics of the Midwest.
Pretty sure you have got some throat goat search results in
actually I just googled throat goat when we were talking about it.
No,
throatgoat.com is open right now. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Here we go.
It does not take you where you think it would go. I'm just going to say it like that. I put my VPN on.
Wow. Let's see.
Yeah, look on your wife's work computer.
Yeah,
don't use safe search
and take it off incognito. So
incredible.
I said that, or we could do like throat goat consulting. That would be even better.
Throat goat solutions.
There you go.
How about throat goat kinetic consulting dynamic group
solutions? Solutions group. Group solutions.
What's the dude? What's the dude that's always wins chow? His patch, it says like wins chow, and he's always acting like he's an instructor.
Mealtime, chow time, whatever.
Yeah.
Wins chow. He was.
Yeah. What's his?
I can't remember, but I know you talk about the punch out, go to work guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, his is something dynamic solutions or something like that. It's like,
I remember I think I goofed this one up because that dude was doing another, like, had like another guy with him at sometimes.
Yep.
And I literally thought that was John at a point because I saw him when I saw you at the night vision course, like, hey, you do that thing with that other guy. And Sean's like, no,
just stares at you.
Definitely
not stares at me with those luscious eyes of yours.
Beautiful.
So, how did you get hooked up with Bill?
He was my first real instructor. I was actually a cop for a while, and I was big into shooting. And I said, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't know everything. I'm not God's gift to shooting in law enforcement, and I was not.
You might tell that to Jefe.
Yeah, he is to his region, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
You're probably a real treasure to the greater Manhattan area.
Yeah.
It's yeah,
but
not in the way you think, though.
I'm not.
It's
but yeah.
God gave me another day. I'm gonna make it everyone else's problem.
Yeah, I took a class with Uncle Bill, and since I've taken a lot of classes from Bill, actually, because he has a little something for everybody. And at some point, I started to embrace the way of the red dot, and he has no interest in doing that. So he asked me to start teaching some red dot classes with him.
Yeah.
And so naturally, when he started the night vision thing, I'm like, hey, can I tag along? I just want to see what you got going on. And so he let me. And that was that. But I talk to Bill almost every day still. I've been talking to that dude almost every day for years. He's like literally my gun uncle.
The one that touches you, or the one that
I was going to say, what are you doing, gun uncle?
Yeah, no, he's the cool one. He's got like the shooting car in the field. He lets you go out there and do whatever. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I remember. So we took that night vision course, and it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little sketchy. Like, kind of, what was that last drill we were doing, where you had the one group doing the rifles, or the
kind of distance, really.
The kid kind of playing with distance that you were running, John, and then Bill's having that other one. He's going like, he had like numbers or something where you had to like spin around and shoot at random stuff.
You had 3 targets that was to your left, to your right, and to your forward, and he's telling you, he's giving you a number or a color. Or
I can't remember exactly how he had it broken down. But...
So you're going from you're literally going from 180 degrees to the other side, and there's also another group to your left shooting as
that berm, like one of those berms is like in line with the people are shooting. Like, man, if I whip this like too far left, I'm just yodeling around.
I don't think that he would let that happen, though, because I just looked at some of the video that we've took from that, and he's right on top of you.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's pretty good. But you were supposed to make it out to Manhattan, last December? And
it was December.
Yeah, I think it was December. It just didn't work out, unfortunately. But I think was that going to be the
performance pistol?
Is that what it was? Wasn't the red dot? Okay. So that's one of the things.
I still have the flyer on my desktop at work.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, because I made one for, and I still have it. It's like sitting there every time I click it, and I'm like, the dreams that never happened.
Yeah. But I definitely want to get out to one of your red dot classes. I think that's something that I would like to think that I've improved my ability to shoot with a red dot, but I'm almost certain that I'm way off the mark still. So that's something that I'd need to brush up on. So when's your next red dot class? I guess that's the biggest question.
Well, I don't have any posted classes right now. At the moment, the way that I roll is I do private lessons by appointment only, and when I need more money for more ammo, I'll just throw up a class. Last year and the year before, I spent a lot of time like creating a schedule and getting in touch with ranges and going around, but at least for the amount of reach that I have right now, it's not really worth my time to go out and do that. But if there's interest, I have gun, will travel. I'd be more than happy to go to you, or if you want to come to me, we can come up with the time. It's no big deal. I'm very flexible.
I mean, 50% of the people in this room right now are on the board of directors for a range.
Yeah, no, we just had a board meeting yesterday, and they pretty much nixed any type of training that involves movement.
Oh yeah, so the range.
Yeah,
it's one of those like to even be an RSO there, you have to do like the NR, like granted for probably like insurance purposes, but it's boomer range is about the best way. They have like a round per second rule at that range.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Oh wow, it's not like 6 or 7 per second. Probably wouldn't be cool.
What's funny is one of the board, actually the president of the board, he likes to go up there all the time and shoot his binary trigger, just to piss people off, and I'm like, you're on the board, dude, and you're up there making things hard for the RSOs. They're like, what are we supposed to do with this guy, but
you change the rules.
Yeah, right. That's what. Yeah. But one of the things that they are doing that is, I think, trying to entice more people to be a part of shooting sports. It's not what we think about, but they are starting the BR50s. They've been doing that, which is actually a little bit more challenging than a lot of people think, shooting 22 long rifle at 50 yards. And then the new one is the NRL 22 competitions. They're going to start that up. They think we're going to maybe have that going August, September timeframe. So, those aren't what a lot of people think are quote unquote fun competition shoots.
I mean, NLR is always fun though.
Yeah. So I'm actually, our friend Brett, he's like, dude, I'm going to need your help on this. So at the very least, I'll RSO. But when it comes to that type of range, myself and Brett were brought onto the board to try to inject some
sanity.
Well, yeah, youthful thinking as to what could be what could help the range expand. And this is a step in the right direction, but I don't know. It's this. They were talking about getting the zoo crew out to the range so they could familiarize with the shotgun.
Yeah. Actually, that's a funny story. So I'm going to go on a wild tangent here. So, our department has been working with the zoo on like escape animal protocol.
Yep.
And like Harambe shit.
But we're trying to, first of all, I don't think we have a gorilla, and two, he doesn't have the secrets. He doesn't have the secrets to, or the evidence needed to put Hillary behind bars. That's so, but I think we're trying to get like one of those, like the AR-15s, but or not the AR-10s that shoot 300 Win Mag. To be like,
really?
Yeah, I think we're trying to get one of those.
The zoo is?
No, we're trying to get one for like the counter zoo response.
Well, I get apparently
today an article came out. I think I can't remember. I think it's Montgomery County, Kansas, they had a bear like trying to burrow out of its enclosure, and they had like this big police response to it because it was like Alcatraz sort of shit.
Well, they according to what we talked about at the board meeting last night is that the zoo crew reached out to us to do some shotgun familiarization. Here's how you load it. Here's how you shoot it. Here's how you load the next round, and you're going to shoot some slugs. And the board was like, well, as long as they're not shooting and moving, we'll be fine. And I'm just like, as soon as they said, I just hang my head. I swear the average age, I'm grateful to be a part of it, but at the same time, the average age of this freaking board is got to be like 65, you know?
I mean, it's the average age is less than our Continental Congress right now, but
yeah, but that's true. So, John, what are some of the other things? Obviously, we've talked about competition shooting. We talked about you know, training and stuff like that. But what are some of the other things that you like to move to decompress a little bit
outside of the shooting world?
Outside of the shooting world, well, Jefe and I, we always talk about drinking egg whites and various other acts. I kind of like
we're not gonna gloss over that one.
You get like one of the quart things of egg whites, just dump a bunch of Hershey syrup in it, shake it up, chocolate milkshake.
Yep,
that is got. Oh my god, that is
it's down the hatch.
Down the hatch. No, I think this is an importance
like
to
that. This is 100% true. Like, try it.
What is the optimal length of shorts? Well, I'll tell you. It depends on whether or not you squat. If you have quadzillas, then it's 5.5, if not shorter. If you don't squat, you're looking at least a 7 or maybe an 8-inch short, and I'm not about that life.
So actually, this past weekend, my stepsister and I were at the Shields in Kansas City,
which he's married to, by the way.
Yeah,
he keeps on talking about his stepsister. It's his stepsister wife.
It's my stepsister wife who's pregnant with our second kid. We went to Shields, and I was like looking at every set of chubbies, whatever I could find that was 5'5" and shorter, and the amount of shorts I got like nixed on site that I bought was I spent way too much money at Shields because I was slightly buzzed. But let me tell you, I have now a solid collection of medium 5.5 shorts that just show off everything you need to do and hides everything you don't need to be showing off.
Oh yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, squatting, picking stuff up, carrying things. You know, I'm a relatively small guy. I don't look like it. I suck at it, but I enjoy it. So,
yeah, I think when I took that Red Dot course of yours, you were talking about you were kind of working on more of like a running cardio game, and I think you switched that up.
So, yes and no. Like, I try and do both. If you get on the Instagram, I think these people are calling themselves hybrid athletes.
The triphasic athlete.
So yeah, basically it's like lift weights, run long distances, do it all. That's what I like to enjoy doing. So I'll lift 3 or 4, maybe 5 days a week, and then I'll run 3 or 4 days a week or ride my bike. I was a bike racer at one point, so it's not too hard for me to jump on a bicycle and ride for a couple hours. But yeah, you know, doing the cardio, lifting heavy stuff, trying to eat right. Actually, I get a lot of shit on my AOR Dynamics Instagram because like half the time it's a food blog and people just, that triggers people.
Yeah. The breakfast, like those breakfasts look great though. You're outdoors.
Every day, like 3 or 4 eggs, maybe some meat, ground turkey, maybe steak, who knows, you know, meat and vegetables all day long. Yeah. I'm just kind of like a food nerd.
And I don't think I've gone on my tirade yet about the Triphasic Tactical Athlete book yet. But what you just described there is a perfect example of it. Essentially back like in, this has been mid 2000s, they've essentially hired these two kinesiologists, I think is the best way to describe them. Like guys who really study like working out and the effects of working out. And then they named some like random Green Beret, but it's not like, and we have this Green Beret who worked with us as well, talking about you got to be pretty much, you know, the way they describe it essentially is that you have to be able to like ruck a 10K, go sprint around everywhere, and then ruck a 10K back and carry your dead buddy with you. Like that's like the peak fitness. And then they have like recommended training for it. So I know that isn't everyone's goal these days. A lot of it's either I want to run a 5K without stopping, or I want to deadlift 500 pounds. But that weird like in between, you have to do everything like at 80%. Is a better model than just doing the one thing really, really well.
Yeah, like low key, not gonna lie. I guess that's what I'm training for, is to ruck the corpse of a loved one through the mountains or something.
So, I'm especially trying to be what's that dude's name? Plays Aragon and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And Viggo Mortensen in The Road. Okay. That's what I'm trying to be like right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Push my shopping cart halfway through the United States and then die.
Yeah, that's actually going to be that's the vision. And yes, no, like a lot of this is like it's inspired kind of like by my old SWAT lifestyle, I suppose, where what makes a good SWAT guy? Well, you have to be strong, you have to be able to carry the ram, you have to be able to fight people, you have to be able to wear armor and all that stuff for extended periods of time. But at the same time, it's like you're going to work really long hours. You're going to get in foot chases. Like I was during the riots in year 2020. I was in a foot chase with.
Hey! Summer of Love.
That's right. The Summer of Love 2020.
Summer of Love 2020.
I was in a foot chase for like a half mile with a bunch of people wearing like 45 pounds of riot gear, wearing a helmet and a gas mask, and being able to like execute, whatever it is. Take a person in custody, fight a person without having a heat stroke. That's key. Cardio is super underrated in my opinion. And what the reason why we carry guns, or ostensibly the reason why we all carry guns, is for like some notion of self-defense or self-protection. But if you're not healthy, then none of it really matters. Like first and foremost, I think your health and wellness is the most important thing. Because that's the thing that you can take with you everywhere you go all the time. I see so many people who look like they're going to die of a heart attack long before, they're going to pull their high point out in their self-defense situation.
First of all, it's an Alchemy Arms.
Yeah, they're Alchemy. That's right.
I spent $6,000. I spent $6,000 on this handgun.
No, I'm going to target a specific person. You know who you are. If you pull your like Sandhawk out, then yeah, what's it matter? Like you're not even going to be able to get there. And to that end, like from looking at it from the SWAT team perspective, the amount of money that goes into the man hours, the money, the equipment, the training, everything. You have a thing that you need to do, and then we have to get all these people out, and they have to drive the armor, and someone's driving the command post, and people are getting woken up in the middle of the night and coming in. You got to like bother a prosecutor or a judge, get a search warrant signed. We spend hours and hours negotiating with the person. We drive this truck in. You're wearing night vision. We've expended, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars worth of like gasoline and electricity and chemical munitions just to go into the room and do the thing. But, we have people who aren't even fit enough to go into the room and do the thing, or from the shooting part of it. It's like we have people who can't even do the thing. So like every calorie of energy, every dollar, expended up to that point is just an utter waste because people just don't even have the foundational preparedness or the fitness or the prerequisite hard skills to even do what the objective is at that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's,
and I just like being fit and capable is a life skill. And I'm the first one to tell you, I am just pathetic, unathletic fuck. I don't move very well. I don't run particularly fast, but I am head and shoulders ahead of people who don't take care of themselves.
And people are the scary thing is people depend on those people.
Yes, like especially if you're the police. I mean, you basically sign away your privilege of being fat and out of shape when you become the police. You know, like you have entered into a pact, whether you acknowledge it or not, that other cops depend on you, your family depends on you to get you home. When people dial 911 and they expect someone to come and like, you know, do something on their behalf, they expect you to be competent, healthy, and capable. And just I see wholesale like that is just not what's happening out there in the real world.
And you know, that's one of the things that I will say is I would say you can correct me if I'm wrong, Jefe.
I probably will, so go ahead.
But I would say that our local police department is
You're wrong.
You're
wrong. I know exactly what you're going to say.
Better condition from the officers that I've seen, right? You know,
you're wrong.
Some of the guys that have come into ACE, I'm like, okay, this dude is not 350 pounds. Yet when I had to call a sheriff's deputy in the adjacent county, that dude could barely get out of his squad car because, you know, I just so happened to be walking my dog and came across some weed that was being grown in the
his backyard.
Not my backyard, but you know, it wasn't far from my backyard, and I didn't want to get freaking pinged on that one, right? So I'm just like, hey, I don't know if this should be here or not. I don't know if it's ditchweed or not, but I just want to let you guys know that I came across this. It's not mine, you know. And this dude, he was pretty much out of breath by the time he got from his car to my front door, you know. And I just want to side note, I really don't care if, you know, people freaking partake in the devil's lettuce. I don't care about that. But I just don't need it around me for what I'm trying to do right now, seeing that it's not federally recognized, right? So that's just my opinion. I don't care if you partake, whatever. That's fine. But the whole point of me all saying that is my interactions with law enforcement in Wichita and some individuals in the Kansas City area and some rural sheriff's department has not been very good when it comes to a fitness aspect. And I see these dudes that are just like obese, you know, like morbidly obese, you know. It's really, really tough for me. You know, I'm just like, dude, I'm not the fittest dude. I can tell you that. I just went out yesterday and ran a couple of miles and wasn't my fastest, but I didn't freaking keel over either. So, but I can look at some of these cops and just like, dude, if I decide to freaking clock you in the face, you're not catching me, you know?
So my fix for all this, I have the fix for the United States law enforcement system. And I think John actually will agree with this. And I'm going to first say this part, and everyone's going to roll their eyes. So most states or most law enforcement departments in Europe have two types of cops. One is the traffic guy. He respond to petty thefts. They like essentially the note taker for the community that wears, you know, the nice pressed uniform. They have
constable.
Yeah, constable is a good way to describe it.
Yep.
And their entire job is just to be like after the fact cops, where they show up past the call, get past the incident, take notes, send it off to some detective, and they have maybe like a radio and like some like ornamental gun. Mm-hmm. And then they have the gendarmerie. And let me tell you, those guys are like in berets, like it's like an 80s action hero, biceps like the size of most people's heads with like skin tight Under Armour shirts, like walking around with MP5s and just I would say causing problems, but they are definitely keeping a lot of people in line. Almost like how the Polizei, how they are. Mm-hmm. It's very similar how the gendarmerie works. And I feel like just having those two distinctions, I'm not saying you should be going around as a cop beating people up in the streets for not having a COVID card like Romania does. But having those two that dichotomy of cops, like the 6'5", 300 pounds of just jacked fucked beast dude as a cop, showing up to the active stuff, and then send your 300-pound guy to someone stole a $45 Apple gift card from Walmart today.
Yeah, they have Walmart in Europe. Is that what you're saying?
It was
Are you talking
but
are you talking in the French GIGN? Is that what you're?
No. So French GIGN is like it's kind of like, if you think of that as like the FBI HRT, that's what the GIGN is.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
After the Berlin massacre at the Olympics, a lot of Europe got their shit together, and GIGN came out of that. GSG9 with the Germans. A lot of those kind of specialized counterterrorism museums picked up, but that's for another day.
Or is it? I mean, what better?
They're at almost 90 minutes right now.
Oh yeah,
John, what's your thoughts about the GSGN?
I don't know.
They shoot revolvers still. They still shoot revolvers.
Yeah, they have those sweet, like ultra accurized revolvers with bipods that are like compact sniper pistols.
Mm-hmm. The Manhurins.
Yeah, that's pretty squared away and forward thinking. I mean, what's not to like about that? That's what I think about them.
Actually, I want to talk to you. I want to get your thoughts on this. Do you still keep up with like law enforcement and some like some of the crazy stuff that's happening?
Oh yeah. I try and keep my finger on the pulse of it.
So today's the 12th of June. About 2 days ago, did you see that the South Florida bank robber where the sniper like at 25 yards shot like domed a dude through a computer?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, I did.
Yeah. Crazy stuff, and that's
did he use? Was it like some type of robotic? Like, was it one of those like bomb displacement robots or something like that?
No, it was the dude literally is like, hey buddy, I'm going to put my gun on your shoulder and hostage negotiator, I want you to talk with this dude, and the next time I see this dude's face, I'm plastering the wall with it. And the guy, the body camera footage that some guy has is perfect, because you can see the dude's head just peek over that computer, and then you just see the monitor just like implode on itself and the dude just crumble. And it was like a 25-yard shot at best, but the dude shot him with I think it was a 210 Senior Match King 308 round. Wow. Ridiculous.
Yeah. So there's really not much of a dome left. But so help me understand. I saw a video of it, but I wasn't really understanding what was happening. You said he was using a computer to do it.
No, the sniper shot him through a computer monitor.
Oh,
so the guy's face was like about, I'm putting about like that T box. Mm-hmm. This much was showing his face, and he put a round like right here through the computer.
So I was thinking, because I saw,
you think about the Houston PD where they bipped a dude in place.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but the Black Rifle Division Instagram page, they had, I thought was the Florida version, where from what I was understanding was this dude was like literally on a computer, like using a remote control, like one of those bomb robots to shoot a dude. That's what I thought was going on.
Oh,
but I guess
I think we're talking about two different things.
Maybe, I don't know.
So what's your hot takes on that shot, John?
Well, I mean, it goes back to the most fundamental thing about like police sniping is that, if you think that your average police sniper is going to be making your 100+ yard distance shot, you're incorrect. If you think that they're going to be doing it from a prone position, you're incorrect. If you think that they're going to have all the time in the world to make a shot, like what you see on TV, where it's like they're just breathing and it's super cool and it's just everything just lines up perfectly, you're also incorrect. And it also comes into like, you have to realize that like you have to have an understanding of like the external ballistics, what your bullet's doing in flight. Do you know what your dope is for your round at 25 yards? Can you be precise? And then you also have to worry about intermediate barriers. Like it's kind of a ballsy move to take a shot through a computer monitor. I mean,
yeah, that was
because it's variable. I mean, it could be like really thin LCD type stuff, or like some amount of glass. There's deviation. The whole point of this is it's a hostage rescue shot. like, it's relatively close. You're within 25 yards. I mean, there's so many things that like you have to take into account to make it work. And I mean, they did just an absolute killer job at getting all that to work out.
No pun intended.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
But yeah, I mean, like, props for that guy. I mean, he was a cool cucumber, and I thought personally it was like very, very clever to use the shoulder, because not only was it like an improvised shooting position, but it was also a hide. I mean, if you look at the way that they were standing and the way that like they were using the other guy kind of as concealment, like they were relatively close and they were like trying to get the proper angle on this person without the bad guy like being wise to the fact that they're trying to get a sniper rifle in place. Like that was really masterfully done by people who really knew what the heck they were doing. And I mean, if you understand the nuance of what they were trying, like what was going on there, I mean, it was super impressive.
Yeah, and what really just I think the only critique I ever have of that is just shooting from defilade is never good, especially when you have buddies around. And that guy was shooting from pretty far back, but there was about one or two bodies in front of him that I don't like. I was they probably have rehearsed this time and time again and knew the guy what was going on. But I remember watching that the first time. That was the first thing my butthole just puckered up the second he took that shot. And like, there's 3 or 4 buddies like past the barrel, just hanging out. Probably didn't even know that he was about to take that shot.
Yeah, there's absolutely that too. Yeah,
Mark's watching the video right now, so we can get caught up.
The shooting from the shooting through the computer monitor, like you really don't know how much deviation you're getting through that thing. And I mean, that would be the only like critique that I have. But I mean, they were able to size up the situation. They knew the limitations of their equipment. They were able to come up with a decisive plan, and they got it done. And coming from a position where I have a lot of experience dealing with, commanders, not allowing officers to make decisive plans, and act quickly. I feel like that was really good, because I mean, yeah, I should just stop there, but yeah. So there you have it. I mean, I think it was pretty good. I mean, it could have been done slightly better, of course. Nothing's perfect, but it was a good outcome, and like risk was minimized.
Well, I think that's one of the biggest issues, especially like us as armchair people at Monday Night quarterbacking it, is what, and I hope like people like whoever's listening to this, all 3 of you guys, and who are not our FBI overlords, take this into account that it's, everything we aren't, you don't like Monday Night quarterback it to say, well, I would have done this and make it so much better. Like, no, it's just like, that's like, that was like the one thing looking back at the CCTV, TV footage and the body camera, like this was like the little pucker moment, but everything else was like flawlessly executed. So like,
yeah, it's really interesting to see that
I could have done it. I know I couldn't have done it.
You couldn't hit our target at 25 yards.
Like, if you just gave me a rifle right now and say, hey, in a hostage situation where if you miss this shot, shoot through a computer with a rifle that granted, hopefully I would know it by then, but like,
I've seen you shoot, dude.
Yeah,
I think you could do it. I think you could do it.
I probably physically could do it, but it's always that, and John's probably been there too. It's that like
that performance anxiety.
Yeah, it's that, and there's a difference performance anxiety from being in a shooting where it's like, if I mess this up, I might drop like a point or two, compared to if I mess this up, someone not me is going to die. Because if I die, like if you die in law enforcement, like the cheat code is like, it's not your problem anymore. It's not, you're just like, you're like, cool. Well, that's, I'm dead.
We'll transport your corpse back to the station. You'll have to finish your accident reports from earlier in the day. And then after that, you're going to get airbrushed into a t-shirt, and that's it.
Airbrush t-shirt. You get a memorial 5K in your honor, or a golf Scrabble, or I want like a city park named after me. And then your family gets a fat check, and in about 10 years, everyone's going to forget who you are. Now, what's worse is if you're the guy who messes up and somebody else dies. That's the thing that people don't really, I guess, put into consideration until they either have been in that situation or have really thought about like what use of force looks like.
So that actually brings up a good question, John. Is you said that you were a part of the SWAT, you were a SWAT sniper. How much time did you spend behind a rifle as a part of your daily duty? You know, was it just once a quarter, once a month, once a day, once a week? How much time did you actually get a chance to get behind, pull triggers to familiarize yourself with different distances, different dopes, and so on and so forth?
We have three teams, and so every third week you're on call, and then the week after that you're kind of standing by to handle whatever happens during the day. And then the third week, it was back when the schedule was the way it was. It was a short week, a three-day week, and no one messed with you. That was when you got all your admin stuff and training done. And so when we were on call within our team, half the time, if you're on call, you're either entry or cover. And if you're cover, so every sixth week, essentially you would be the sniper. You're the guy they're calling. We need sniper rifles out here right now. Like it's, whatever was going to happen, it was going to definitely, that was your responsibility ultimately. And so at the beginning of my week, I would shoot 5 rounds to confirm my zero, make sure everything was good. And then if I could get out there every single day, I would go to our range and fire 1 or 2 rounds out of the gun just to like confirm that I was on, that everything was hitting. Like we, at least within my squad, we took it, or my team, we took it very seriously. And so we were constantly out there firing 1 or 2 or 5 rounds at a time, just gathering dope, making sure that, our gun is zeroed, making sure that everything was the way it was supposed to be. I mean, my other guy that I was with all the time, I mean, we were very meticulous about it. We shot under night vision. We shot with our gas masks on. We shot out of the back of our warrant van. We were making improvised hides. Like it was like green eggs and ham. I'd shoot out of a car. I would shoot through a window. I'd shoot through a windshield. I'd shoot underwater. Like it doesn't matter. We did it all the time because we were super worried, or not worried wasn't the right word, but super concerned about making sure that we can, properly locate our suspect, properly gauge the distance, make sure that we had the right understanding of what our bullet was going to do in flight, make the correct adjustments in our scope, or know how to hold appropriately. Like we were trying very, very hard to make sure that everything was perfect all the time. And it was like a giant weight on our shoulders because we got behind the guns a lot. Like Kansas City has killed quite a few people with sniper rifles within our recent memory. And we will continue to, I'm sure. And yeah, it's just like, if that's your craft, it's critically important to take it very seriously. And that's what we did. So, but that said, paradoxically, we didn't get a whole lot of training ammo. I think that we were each like allotted roughly 200 rounds a month to shoot, like not very much at all. So we had to do the best with what we had.
Yeah. Right on. And
what guns do you guys have?
Yeah, I was going to say, what caliber, what gun?
We were shooting either a GA Precision Gap 10 with a Bushnell scope, or we were shooting a Crescent Custom, Crescent Custom bolt gun with a Night Force on it.
So I'm going to assume both of those are 308.
Yep, 308. We were shooting Hornady, Tap. So great rounds, very consistent. And that's all we shot. We didn't shoot any other sort of training round. Like the only rounds that we shot were our duty rounds. So
right on. Cool. Well, I think that's
we're hitting at the
yep.
We're like an hour and a half already.
Yep.
So
I think we're going to start to wind this down. As we always do, John, we always like to dish it over to you, do your kind of wisdom, folksy wisdom, your dad advice, if you want to call it. We say give you the next 30 seconds to say whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it's however long it takes for you. So, John, what do you have for us? Last 30 seconds, you need to impart some wisdom in the world. What would you say?
More than anything, I think that the most important thing is like your health and wellness. Like we all shoot because it's fun or it's for self-defense, but if you're not really healthy and if you're not taking care of yourself, none of it really matters. And also to that end, if you're shooting a lot, like a lot, go get some blood work done and have your lead levels tested.
I meant to bring that up. I meant to bring that up. The caves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh god. Yeah. Real quick, the caves didn't have very much airflow and it was terrible, but arguably cleaner than a local range I frequent. That said, if you shoot indoors a lot, whether it's in a cave or in a hole or your basement or at an actual shooting range, you might want to consider wearing some sort of respirator because you really don't want to breathe that shit in, especially at the volume that I do long term. It's not good for you. So make sure you wash your hands, have good hygiene, change your clothes. If you have a baby on the way, don't even wear your range shoes in the house anymore. I think that's huge. So that's all I got.
Yeah. No, that's really good.
I remember us talking about it. And then I think because you and I talked about that like months ago, and then I shot like an IDPA match, and I think one of the stages was shoot from a knee, and I just dropped down and went like urban prone on like an indoor range.
You did, yeah.
And I got back up, and I just looked at like the black crud all over me. It's like, oh yeah, maybe he's onto something. So
yeah, like if it like that's in you, like that is absolutely in you if you breathe inside.
It's that dog in me.
Yeah,
yeah, man. I for the longest time I thought I had that dog in me, and then I realized that it's just super high lead levels, and I'm going crazy. So,
yep.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Wash your hands.
No, that's good. That's good advice. Sound advice. So, Jefe, what do you got?
Okay. Yeah, I got this one. Okay. So I think what you should do, everybody listen to this podcast, get quads that 5.5 inch shorts look good on.
That's a good point. Yep.
Go get them. They're not that hard.
Yep.
That's right. Squats and whole milk.
Whole milk and egg whites.
Oh God!
Egg whites.
Don't
get like a quart of egg whites. Put some chocolate syrup in there. Shake it up, or just start putting egg whites in your Like if you have a smoothie in the morning, put egg whites in it, like a fruit smoothie. Yeah. You don't taste the eggs. You don't taste them.
It's pasteurized.
It adds that thickness.
Nope.
Egg whites add thick thighs.
Right.
My last little bit is it is summertime pretty much at this point. Get outside, enjoy the weather, get some vitamin D. I have started playing golf. I know that's not probably the most.
He shoots all his balls low and left.
No, actually, they're not low and left. They're very high and right. But I did take my first. I went to my first lesson today.
Oh, nice.
And you want to hear something really funny?
Yeah.
So funny. Oh my God. So I went and did my lesson today and went through, it was an hour-long session and, had a lot of areas to work on. He gave me some things.
Shit.
Yeah, I know, right? He said, well, I don't think I'm going to charge you because I don't think that we really accomplished anything today. So
checks out. Yeah.
It's like I suck that bad, huh? So yeah, I was like, it actually helped out a lot better. But the whole point is get outside, enjoy. I don't want to say touch grass. It's getting cliche at this point, but just get outside, enjoy the weather, even if it's raining.
Make contact with fescue.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
That's good. Yeah,
punch out and touch the grass.
Yeah, punch out and touch the grass. Go kill some moles. But with all of that being said, John, real quick, where can people find you if they want to find you?
Yeah, if you wanted to find me, you can find me on the Instagram. I have a profile. It's AOR_Dynamics. You can look me up. John Shipman's the name. I actually have the Instagram threads, although I don't use it. And you can also go to my website, aordynamics.com.
Great. Yep. We'll have all of that information in the description as well. So if you don't want to take the time to write that down or memorize it, you can just click the links in the description of the podcast. So with all of that being said, John, thank you so much for taking the time on this lovely, as it stands as we're recording Wednesday night, to stay up with us and record. Jefe, last thing, anything?
No, you already gave me the last thing.
Well, I know, but
my last thing.
Yeah,
add egg whites to every milkshake you make.
No, stop. You know what? Live your best life. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to us. Thank you to Atero Arms for supporting the channel. We appreciate you as well. And don't forget to live lap and live lap. I can't even say it.
Live lap dance and LARP.
Lap dance. No. If that's what you're into. But okay, fine. Here we are. Live, laugh, LARP. Catch you guys later. Bye, y'all.